Welcome back to Singh Tries. When I started gardening, I had this picture in my head: birds chirping, fresh vegetables, a nice cup of tea in the morning with breakfast on the deck, just my husband and I enjoying the garden. Turns out I wasn't growing a vegetable garden, I was growing a mosquito habitat. I don't even think they're biting me because they're hungry anymore. I think they're just protecting their territory. Every time I walk through the gate, I can almost hear one of them yell, "She's back!" And then another one, "Everyone to your stations." 5 seconds later, I've apparently become the daily special. Honestly, my biggest gardening expense this year isn't compost or fertilizer or raised beds, it's bug spray. At this point, I should probably own stock in Deep Woods or at least qualify for their loyalty program. Then again, we've had rain, followed by more rain, and now the forecast says we're getting even more this weekend. Great news for the garden, less great news for everyone with blood. Apparently, the mosquitoes only need a tiny bit of standing water to lay their eggs, so every puddle around here basically turned into a mosquito daycare. I'm hoping mowing the grass helps a little. At the very least, it'll make it easier to see what's biting me. Although, I'm honestly not sure what's more annoying: the mosquitoes or the fact that I knowingly bought the smallest electric lawn mower I could find with a power cord. Every single pass is the same: mow a strip, move the cord, mow another strip, realize now that the cord is trapped on something, and back up, untangle it, move it again, repeat. By the time I finish the backyard, I feel like I've completed an obstacle course. Some people count steps on their fitness watch. I count how many times I accidentally clothesline myself on an extension cord. I keep telling myself one day, if Singh Tries ever makes it big on YouTube, I'm buying myself a cordless mower. It'll be my first reward. Well, maybe the second, because first, I'm buying a greenhouse. I've wanted a greenhouse for years, not because I need one, just because every gardener secretly believes that one greenhouse will save all of life's problems. Will it? Probably not, but I'll look very optimistic standing inside it. I also found out something interesting while trying to figure out why they like me so much. Turns out only the female mosquitoes bite, which means somewhere out there is a male mosquito happily sipping nectar from a flower, completely unaware of the crimes being committed by the rest of its family. Mosquitoes actually find people by following the carbon dioxide we breathe out. So every time I stop mowing to catch my breath, I'm basically announcing, "Excuse me, everyone, fresh buffet over here." Despite the mosquito invasion, the garden keeps moving along. The radishes, well, let's just say the worms got there before I did. Certainly, I wasn't the only one looking forward to harvest. I pulled most of them out to give the smaller ones a better chance. It always feels a little wrong. Every time I thin seedlings, I feel like I'm choosing favorites. The rest, though, I'm hoping to let go to seed. If you've never tried a radish seed pod, they're crunchy, slightly spicy, and honestly, I think I like them better than the radishes themselves. So, this spring's disappointing harvest might actually become a late summer favorite. The spinach has also reached the end of its season. I pulled the last of it, although I'm letting a little Bloomingdale go to seed because I've discovered that it's definitely my favorite variety. The Italian market giant spinach? Well, it wasn't particularly giant or particularly impressive. I think the only thing giant about it was its name. Now that the bed is looking a little empty, I'm tempted to squeeze something else in here. I did throw some collards in before I pulled the spinach, but out of the whole package, only one came up. Just one. Fortunately, the kohlrabi on the other side of the spinach bed seems to have understood the assignment. And also, thankfully, I've already got another succession planting of spinach coming along in a different raised bed. So spinach season isn't totally over just yet. The potatoes have been keeping me guessing. Every grow bag has finally sprouted. Well, technically, the purple potatoes have only just decided to make an appearance. Meanwhile, the store-bought potatoes are already thinking about flowering. Show-offs. The yellow variety and the pink eyes isn't much further ahead than the purple ones. To be fair, I didn't let the eyes get very big before planting either of those. I was just expecting a little more by now. With all the rain we've had, I'm starting to wonder if some of them have simply rotted before they ever got going. You spent months imagining giant harvests, and sometimes the potatoes have completely different plans. Whatever I do end up harvesting, I don't think I'll eat them. I'll save them and then plant them again next year, because apparently I'm optimistic enough to try this all over again. The peas are finally starting to behave. I've been training them up the trellis. Ones growing in the raised beds figured it out eventually. The grow bags, though, well, those peas spent most of their time wrestling each other on the ground instead of climbing up. I had to separate them, untangle them, point them in the right direction. Basically, referee a tiny pea argument. The others have finally been told to play nicely with others, and they're all reaching for the stars. The cilantro is finally ready for its first harvest, and the Methi won't be far behind. Fresh herbs always make me feel like a much better gardener than I probably am. Sure, the mosquitoes own the backyard, the worms claimed the radishes, the spinach oversold itself, and the potatoes are keeping secrets. But at least dinner's looking pretty good. And then there's the squash. None of my pumpkins or butternut squash germinated the first time, so I decided to pre-sprout the seeds for another sowing. This will be the third sowing, by the way. Well, it worked. Maybe a little too well. The problem is, once you got tiny little seedlings staring back at you, well, it's surprisingly hard to throw any of them away. I only wanted one healthy plant, and now, if they all survive, I might have more than 20. On the bright side, if that happens, the front yard should look fantastic by Halloween. One unexpected success this week came from the lilacs. They smelled so incredibly that I couldn't resist experimenting. I ground the blossoms into sugar and baked it at a low temperature to recrystallize it. The kitchen smelled amazing. The sugar smells amazing. Unfortunately, the flavor seems to disappear once you stir it into tea. So now I'm wondering what to use it for. Maybe sprinkled over some shortbread or fresh berries, vanilla ice cream. Is finishing sugar a thing? If not, maybe it should be. I guess I'll have to do some experimenting. Well, that's gardening and cooking, I suppose. Sometimes the experiments work and sometimes they don't. Either way, you usually learn something. Thanks for joining me on another Singh Tries. And until next time, we plant, we panic, we feed the mosquitoes.